$4,000. I want the nice OLED to be like $1,600, and then I'll buy it. Otherwise, I'll keep my old 1080 LCD. It'll be
I have
fine.
a plasma that's dope. It's great. Panasonic plasma.
Heats the house and everything.
It's not. It gets hot, but it's not that bad. All right. Are you guys ready to go?
Sure.
All right. Welcome to Four Brewers. My name is John Holzer, and as always, I'm joined by
Jason Harris
and Greg Nagel.
And today we have Mr. Chris Walowski from Trustworthy Brewing Company in the studio.
Whoop whoop.
What's up, man?
Yeah. What's up? How you guys doing? I'm excited to be here.
Good. How was the drive out to Moval?
Hour and a half.
Yeah, I know what it's like, especially for all those beer releases out in the South Bay. It's a bad drive.
It's 45 minutes for me. So
dude, it's 20 minutes to the freeway from my house. I just live in a weird area. It's kind of like Whittier. When you go to Whittier, it takes like a half hour just to get to the freeway. Wherever you're at.
So you muled some beers to us from the LA.
I did.
So tell us about Trustworthy Brewing. Where is it, and how do we get there?
So Trustworthy Brewing is in Burbank. So it's right off the 5. There's that new IKEA they just built off the 5.
All right.
There's a new
shout
IKEA?
out to Ingvar.
Yeah, I think it's like a year or two old.
Oh, because there was already one near there, right? I think. Oh.
I think, but I think this is like a remodeled, like big giant one.
We could
like right across the 5
in our life.
Yeah, I'm a big IKEA fan.
Shout out to Ingvar, my homie from Sweden.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Ingvar
Shout out to Malm, my dresser. So, yeah.
What's the bookshelf? Billy or something? Or
I'm more of a Kallax fan. I like the big squares.
This table's from IKEA.
Yeah. Oh, it's a nice table.
It's actually made out of solid wood too, for a change. Anyway.
Yeah, you can buy like solid butcher block woods from IKEA.
Yeah. If you skimp and go for like the cheap desks, they're that hollow cardboard stuff. Our first studio table was that, and I had holes drilled in it for mics, and it didn't hold up for I think more.
Do you know what IKEA stands for?
No.
Please tell.
It's actually the owner's name and then the city and the state in Sweden. Ingvar Kamprad something.
Oh.
But we call it I kiss everyone's ass. I don't know why. I used to work there, so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's the only job I've ever been fired from.
So continuing with Trustworthy,
they don't let you
got
shit in the
sidetracked with
display
IKEA.
toilet.
That sounds fine. I mean, it's a great store.
It
Are
is.
you guys sponsored by IKEA? You should be.
Oh, I wish.
At least now.
Oh yeah, we should. IKEA.
We're coming up on our 2nd year anniversary here. So we started. I started brewing there in 2016.
Yeah, in 2016 you had a different name too, right?
Yeah. So we officially opened in 2017, and we opened under Verdugo West Brewing Company.
Right.
And so the way I got plugged in is I was actually out of the brewing industry at the time. I was working at this biotech company in Irvine.
Shout out
to Irvine. Go Zymo Research Corporation.
Right on.
Oh, they were the best. And the owners just reached out and said, "Hey, we're starting a brewery. We need a brewer." It's a hospitality group. So they've had they're telling me their history the other day. They've had like 75 restaurants and concepts over the past 40 years.
So seasoned vets.
Yeah. And they're like, we have our own building in Burbank. Here's the floor plan. Have at it. And I was like, oh, this is dope. This is way too good of an opportunity just to pass up, to start a brand, a business, and kind of really get a feel for starting a brewery. And so I jumped on board.
So you came from Smog City. You left Smog City to go to that biotech job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we did a show. Actually, Smog was our first on-location show as Four
that's
Brewers,
right. Yeah.
which was actually really fun. But yeah, the whole biotech thing. Did you just take the opportunity solely because it was an opportunity, or were you kind of like missing the beer industry kind of thing, and you're like, maybe it'd be cool to get back into it?
It's like the way I describe sometimes the beer industry is like, it's like that bad ex-girlfriend where like, she's bad for you, but you just love her so much, and it's just like I just got that itch. I love the biotech industry. It was especially the company I worked for. It was a lot of fun, really good industry, but I was just like, it's in my blood. Like, I just really wanted to go back, and it was
Cool. So we just opened Giggle, right?
Yes.
This is spelled
Giggle.
Gigil, and this is a lager, Japanese rice lager made with puffed rice.
Puffed jasmine rice.
Cool.
So, crystal clear, nicely carved, super light. I think you definitely get the puffed jasmine on the nose. Definitely get some nice texture to it.
It smells really nice. Super kind of perfumey. Not in like a perfume way, but sort of like a floral, sort of like herbaceous.
That smells really good. Yeah, the perfume, flower, floral thing it's definitely. And
yum. It's a true lager. It's a 6-week beer. It's a pain in my butt to make.
Nothing to hide behind in this thing, man.
No, exactly. So,
that is so refreshing right now.
So what's the mix between rice and malt that you're using in this?
So it's 80% Wireman Pilsner malt and 20% Puff Jasmine rice. So
love me some Wireman Pilsner malt.
it's just so classic and snappy. And early on, like I was kind of playing around with different malts and different blends, and just kind of settled into the Wireman.
And hop wise, what do you use in hops?
It's just I think it's like 15 BUs at 60 minutes, and that's it.
Of
which
Warrior. Okay,
Yeah.
wow. You don't often hear that in a Pilsner.
Yeah, I bitter everything with Warrior.
There's no late edition, nothing.
No,
oh, wow. So
nothing.
everything on the nose is from the rice.
Yep.
Puffed rice. Wow,
Yep.
that's amazing. It's super floral. That's cool.
That's kind of shocking. You would think that is coming solely from the hops, and I wouldn't think the rice would actually play a part in the aroma. Maybe I don't know jasmine rice that well. But.
Well, when you open the bags of jasmine rice, it smells like this beer. So, or vice versa, the beer smells like that open bag of puffed jasmine rice. It's pretty interesting, and I was really excited with how well that aroma and flavors kind of like pass through the beer, and you definitely get the aroma. And
is there any trickiness to brewing with that? Is there anything different you have to do, or
not really? We don't mill it in. We just dump in the bags whole through the manway and the mash tun. That's really about it. Lauder's fine. I was really worried the first couple times, with maybe having to add rice hulls or something like that. But Lauder's great. Since it is such low gravity, we suffer with efficiency just because I want my final my final runnings to be a little bit higher, so I don't get any tannin extractions. We were running, I think the first few batches were pretty low last runnings, and we're getting a little bit of astringency, I think, from the grain, but I kind of bumped up the grain bill and made the efficiency suffer, so that way we get a much cleaner.
So you're leaving behind more sugars in the mash than you typically would if you were trying to be more efficient.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, efficiency isn't everything when you're focused on flavor.
Right. And I mean, we do some water adjustments. Like if I had a full blown, RO system and all that jazz, I wouldn't really have to do that. But I don't really have that luxury. Plus, I don't like the idea of RO. I mean, I like the idea of using RO water, but when it's California and you're wasting, you get for every 1 gallon of RO water, you have to blow 3 gallons of water down the drain. Like,
that's insane. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's how RO systems work.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
They use a lot of water.
Yeah. I think it's irresponsible.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
And if the beer in the glass is what you design, like, why would you waste all that water?
Right.
I mean, if you have really, really bad water, I could see,
Anaheim, where I live in Anaheim, every brewer uses RO because the water's like 500 ppm of like bicarbonate. Like,
ours isn't that bad.
It's insane. So you either have to boil it all night and you're going to lose water that way, or you can RO it.
Yeah.
So you have to pick your battles.
Yeah.
So it's great beer. Like I said, really light and crisp and refreshing. It's very, very well done. It's a good first showing from you guys.
Good first beer.
And I love the industry trend in general that we're getting more of these kind of beers.
Yeah, me too. We just bought a 30-barrel horizontal lagering tank.
I was going to ask about that.
I'm super excited to fill that.
Just one?
Up. Just one.
Okay. The trend I see is people buying like 6 of the smaller ones. They're like 10 barrels or something like that, and then having multiple because they can knock off 2 weeks off of each lager by having it in those tanks.
Yeah.
And if you're doing a lot of lagers, then you can have maybe a bunch of things going at the same time. And also space. So
yeah. We put ours is it's not jacketed, it's just a single layer. It's in our walk-in. So we just got some new tanks, and the owners were super cool. They're like, we can fit 3 tanks in one container. Like, is there, we want to get the most bang for our buck for shipping. Is there something you want? I'm like, how we just get a unjacketed, bright tank, horizontal, or, lagering tank, horizontal lagering tank, just throw it in the walk-in. And they're like, all right.
Do you guys name your walk-in?
No, it's just
that's not a Christopher.
Yeah, no. I do tours of the brewery, and I'm like, and this is our walk-in, and they walk in, and they're like, oh, it's so cold in here. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's a walk-in cooler. It's supposed to be cold in here.
I didn't know I would need a jacket.
Yeah.
Horizontal Lagering Tank sounds like the top album of 1997.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, to change things up and go in a completely opposite direction, the next beer up is it's a well-known beer from a well-known brewer. It's Silva Stout.
Oh,
from
wow.
Silva
I haven't had
Brewing.
that beer in a hot minute.
Silva's like Chuck Silva used to work at Green Flash Brewing Company. He left, 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 4, and moved up to Paso Robles, and he opened a brewery up there called Silva Brewing, appropriately enough. And I thought I'd never get their beer. Well, not never. I thought it'd be a long time before I saw their beer again because they're pretty small, and I doubt they're focusing on mass distribution at this point. But they started doing online sales, and they're shipping within California.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I got the beer in like a day.
Oh, that's pretty
I placed the order.
GSO?
They shipped it that
GSO?
day. Yeah. And that's freaking amazing.
How much was shipping and stuff?
$10.
That's not bad.
I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, I got 3 bottles. I got 3 Silva Stouts and 3 Chuck Amucks, which is the next beer. And it was like $100.
So, like, Silva Stout has had a weird, turbulent history, right? Like, for anyone who's not familiar with the beer, it was kind of like a big get, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
At Green Flash. And then Green Flash kind of was like, all right, we're doing Silva Stout big. And it was like their big coming out beer.
Well, that was when they did
with Cellar 3.
Yeah.
And they fucked it. And the beer was like bad. And
yeah, the OG Silva Stout that was in the 12-ounce bottles, like, it was good fresh, and it held up amazingly well.
Yeah.
Like, when I opened mine, I was like, oh, shit. I only had 1 bottle. Dr. Bill gave it to me. I had one bottle, and I was like, I wish I would have held on to this, because this could go a little longer.
Yeah, in a long series of Green Flash squandering good customer goodwill, they took a beer that had like legendary status and just completely botched releasing it.
Yeah, because I think didn't the one that came out, wasn't it like really like soy saucy?
It was diacetyl.
It was that's right. It was diacetyl.
Like insane diacetyl.
That's right.
Yeah.
I cannot get this open.
To the point where they addressed it on their tour. They're like, oh, and you know that Silva Stout that had diacetyl? Well, here is why. I forget what their excuse was, but it sounded kind of bullshitty.
Yeah, we packaged it too early.
Yeah, 10-month-old barrel-aged imperial stout. Oh.
Now, is it possible for diacetyl to come from infection, or is it just a yeast issue of pulling it off too fast?
Oh, it can totally come from infection.
Okay.
Like, you can get
that blows my mind too.
I've gone to some, beer bars, and I'm like, oh, cool, they have this beer on. So just recently I went to this bar, and they had 21st
bottle.
Amendment, the watermelon wheat. My wife got it, and she poured it, and she knows all the off flavors, mostly because of me, and she's like, yeah, try this, and I'm like, oh, diacetyl, and I'm like, there's no way 21st Amendment would release diacetyl beer, but I'm like, from the beer line, totally. You get some PDO growing in the beer line. And I had one of that. I had that happen to me with the Giggle. I did a tasting, and I was like, "Oh, cool! Thanks for pouring Giggle." And I tried it. I'm like, "Whoa, what the hell?" I'm like, "This thing is full of diacetyl."
And you're like, "What did I do?" Wait a minute.
Yeah, and I came back the next day with like a separate keg tap, and I tapped the keg, and they're walking. And I tried. I'm like, "No diacetyl."
Huh?
And it was just because they have like a 150-foot, draft line, and they just weren't cleaning it.
Yeah,
Wine Warehouse offers free cleanings every 2 weeks, and they're like, yeah, we don't want to do that. We're going to do, how about every 2 months?
Why would you
2
turn
months?
down a free cleaning? Like, I can understand if you had to do it yourself, you're going to, procrastinate. But if it's free.
So some bars that have a long draw system like that, like 100 feet, like there's like 2 gallons of beer in the line. And you pretty much have to waste all 2 gallons of beer.
Got it.
And so some bars and restaurants are like, we don't want to waste 2 gallons of beer
what?
just to clean our
Factor
line.
that into the cost of having a long draw system. It's your own fault.
A fun fact with those kind of systems is I used to frequent the Yard House in Rancho before there was good beer bars around here. And if you got a beer that didn't turn over very often, it would get warm in the line, like because they have these gigantically long lines that go to their cooler, and so you're like, you order something that you could tell isn't ordered very often, and it comes out and it's like a little warm, a little flat, like, and it's like if you get a second pour of it, like it's getting better.
Yeah, that's one of the many things that's wrong with the Yard House. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't been there in a hot minute.
Oh, so probably if you had a barrel-aged stout and diacetyl, it's probably infection from
sure
bottling line or transfer or
some sort of thing in the process. Yeah. That's amazing.
That was pretty sad, that whole Cellar 3 thing, because I mean they were really touting some whaley beers, and I think the Silva Stout was the only one I bought, and just like, nope, I totally wrote them off. Like, I'm like, what is going on with Green Flash at this
I don't
point?
think that Cellar 3 plane ever really took off the runway.
It was really
never
that,
got off the
right?
ground.
Their big coming out was this big high profile beer that everyone went and got, and they're like, wow, I just wasted $20.
Didn't they have like a Flanders Red or something like that?
Yeah, they had a few different like fruited sours that came out too, but it was just kind of after that first one, everyone was just like, nope. It's the same with Alpine, right? Like they pushed the beer out really quickly. They sent these $18 six packs of pure hoppiness that tasted like shit to all these new markets who were like, oh, I can finally get Alpine. Why the fuck was everyone going crazy about this? It's $18 and it tastes like shit. It's like, and they were done. That was that.
Yeah, Chuck Silva he left at the perfect time.
Yeah,
like, he got out while the getting was good, and good for him, because I mean, I don't know if his name would be tarnished from what's happening with Green Flash right now, because he was just the brewer, he wasn't the business owner. But he got out at a good time.
Would you put Chuck Silva on the Mount Rushmore of American brewers? I mean, like, there's like,
I'd give him a monument somewhere. I don't know if I'd put him on Mount Rushmore though. Like, he's definitely an influential figure, and
he's not like a Tommy Arthur. That's what I'm saying. He's not like a Matt Brindleton. He's not.
I think
he's a well-respected brewer, and it's dope that he has his own brewery.
In San Diego, he's a legend.
Right.
Outside of San Diego, I'm not sure if he has that same status, because who knows? Chuck Silva. It's like Jeff Bagby's kind of the same way.
Right.
Everybody loves Jeff Bagby in San Diego because he's an awesome brewer and a great guy. But who the fuck is Jeff Bagby? That's how it is.
Hashtag who the fuck is Jeff Bagby?
So
this beer's good. It's not bad.
Yeah, let's talk about this beer.
Yeah, this is actually 13.1% on Untapped. They have it as 12.6, so it's a little.
We got the bonus version, the bonus round. On the nose, it totally reminds me of. You ever get those Christmas time chocolates with brandy in them?
Mm-hmm. Brandy beans?
Like brandy beans in them? Oh, man, it's got so woody.
Saucy.
Really?
Yeah,
Do you think so?
Yeah.
No.
I don't taste it, but I get a little bit on the aroma.
For me, it's like the big wooden chocolate.
Yeah, I'm getting chocolate,
Coconut.
like chocolate soy sauce.
Coconut.
Really?
The nose, yeah.
It's like it's
on the
very
nose.
like cocoa nibby. Like it's a little bitter. Like a...
You're getting the soy sauce on the nose, not the flavor.
That's how I perceive it.
The flavor's got its own things.
I think it's
pretty
a
good,
little
man.
hot, which it should be. But
it's thin, boozy, dark chocolate is pretty much the flavor notes I'm getting. Like, I don't know. It's not.
It's very nutty.
It's not hit me well. Yeah, there's a bit of after the after palate is like I just ate peanuts. Like a kind of linger there.
I think this saw time in oak, obviously. I think it's maybe just I call it waterlogged. There's like a waterlogged sort of profile to it.
Interesting.
It saw a little bit too much oak. Could be less oaky.
yeah, it is the bourbon barrel.
The
version.
bourbon, like he could brew, like, how we talked about Dark Star November, like the first batch was thin, hot, and boozy, and then they brewed a beer specifically for the
a
barrel.
barrel.
And then the second year, like, I think they won fucking World Beer Cup or something. Like,
Yeah, this kind of reminds me of that. Like
Right.
it's like this. Again, it's 13%, so clearly it's not thin, but it drinks like thin.
I'm fine with booze though.
I like it. I don't get the soy sauce on the nose. I got like a dark chocolate, like dusty chocolate kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Nutty.
and it was boozy, but I don't know. I think it's.
I was drinking rum all night, so boozy's relative.
This
You really know how to prep for this show, Greg.
Yeah. Well, I was up in Long Beach and Took in some tiki cocktails.
Just busting your balls.
So went to Beer Belly.
I feel
Yeah, I
like if this flavor profile was kind of pared down to a beer that was like 6 or 7%, it would be successful. But because it's so boozy, it kind of is just like the booze is kicking out. I don't know. It needs something. There's something.
Needs more body to it.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, when you're getting up into these big range stouts, I think the ones that are successful are the ones that kind of give you a bit more. They're thicker, sweeter beers. You know, not necessarily going full on fucking pastry stout, but having a little bit more there.
I wonder if anybody has any old school Silva Stout still in their cellar that
Dr. Bill
maybe compared.
probably has like
Those
2
notes.
12-packs or something.
I'd be curious if there was any recipe changes and whatever
I don't
he did.
think there-
What was
I
the
mean-
original ABV of Green Flash?
I would
Silva?
assume 12.6 because that's what's on
okay.
Untapped.
Gotcha.
So, it's. I think this is the first attempt at it too at Silva Brewing. So I mean, I mean, since
There's always
Have you
those
guys had
years.
Yeah,
Have
it's
you guys
been-
had much of their stuff before, Silva Brewing?
we had when we were in Sacramento, we had one beer. It was on the show, right?
Yeah,
I think
so.
Um,
I've been to the brewery.
I've had
And it was
mixed stuff from them. Yeah, I really haven't had anything outstanding.
I liked all those
sadly.
lagers. He does a bunch of
I
like
hate-
German style alt beer and stuff like that were super solid.
Yeah, it
And
was,
how much else?
I go up to Paso every now and then, and I guess like his unofficial tasting room is like it's called the Pour House. Mm-hmm. I had a couple beers, and I was like, I don't know, maybe because it's Chuck Silva, and I was expecting so much more, and I had a couple of them, and I was like, oh. But then I don't know. I ran into the same problems myself when I was brewing.
He's
The
definitely
first thing at Trustworthy Brewing, it was like it took a while to kind of
dial it.
to get it dialed in and get on my feet. So
What's the average time period you would give a new brewer or brewery to turn things around, like steer the ship?
I would say
correctly?
a year. It took me like 8 months before I was really kind of happy with how everything was turning out. So
And then you won you got your first medal at GABF this year
yeah, we got a bronze medal for
barley wine.
for our barley wine.
I think
Yeah,
we're going to drink that on a show in maybe 3 weeks,
yeah,
4 weeks,
yeah.
3 weeks.
It's
from
the
now.
last show of this session. So yeah,
Barley
a few
wine,
weeks.
saving it for the fourth show.
I've always loved the style, and it's something I've always loved brewing. And as a home brewer, it was one of my recipes. It was pretty much always like guaranteed to get a medal every time I entered into competition. It was just
Barley wine.
always did well. So
That's awesome, man. Congrats on that.
And it was
we got a cork down.
It was
Uh-oh.
It's like it was like the third to last medal they awarded. I'm watching the live stream, and
You didn't go?
no, I didn't go. And I still remember we were in the drive-through getting breakfast. It was a Pokemon Go community day, and so the wife and I were getting breakfast really quick. And I'm watching the live feed on my phone, and I'm like paying, giving the lady my card, and I'm like,
I did it!
I did it!
I'm the king of barley wine.
Well, the third king of
Well, I mean, you're still
The Duke of Barley Wine.
the Duke of Barley Wine. I'll take it.
the arch. That's awesome.
I like how barley wine is becoming kind of like an ironic thing. Like,
Yeah.
It's just like
This whole culture around it. I love
I
it.
mean, barley wine is life.
Yeah.
But, I just can't drink that much barley wine in a month.
yeah.
Speak for yourself.
I mean, I love it, but I'm the only guy in the house drinking it, and Daddy got to work in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
Sounds
Says
like
the guy who's drinking rum drinks all night.
Yeah, that's true. But I had a driver.
But
So what we got next?
that's why we need those
Chunk 'em up.
8-ounce cans for the barley wine.
Exactly. 8-ounce cans of barley wine would be like, whoosh. I'd drink them at lunch.
I mean, I haven't found a good wholesaler for like the 8-ounce cans. The company that we bought the Crowler machine from, they sell them. You can get like 144 or something like that in a box, but they're like literally like 50 cents a can. And
Damn.
Yeah.
Just add that into the cost. It's all good.
we have, I don't know. I think
It's that easy.
Like you can't, yeah, it's that easy.
Just add 50 cents, man.
It's free real estate.
It's free house for you, Jim.
Oh, so weird. It took me 6 months to sell 144 cans. That's what I need.
Whatever you don't sell, I will drive up to Burbank and take them off your hands.
Then I got to make a new label for them. It's just a pain in my butt.
Support the shit out of it.com, patreon.com.
No, here's what you do. You take your regular label and you just print it twice, so you cut it down the middle.
Oh, see? You're hired.
Yeah, there you go. Just cut it down the middle and you're bam.
And I feel like consumers still have a weird thing about spending like high price point for cans.
It is one of my huge pet peeves right now is people bitching about can prices. Like, $5 a can. Yeah, you paid $10 for fucking Bombers for the last 10 years and you're bitching about...
It's just the can format. Like, there's no confidence behind it.
Like, never mind that growler prices are just straight insanely high if you compare them to any other format. Like, people be like, I have a growler fill for $25.
Oh, they'll do that all day.
Yeah.
I wonder what the, like take a 30-pack of Tecate or something, empty all the beer out, and just factor in the packaging costs of like how much aluminum is there and like what that costs them to produce. I wonder what the average overall price for just the the throwaway items would be in something like that. Throw in some like music right there.
I mean, like
Good question, Greg.
Greg, welcome to Greg Wonders.
Hashtag
Thoughts with Greg.
Hashtag Greg Thoughts.
If dogs wore pants, would they wear them on all four legs or just on the backside?
www.gregthoughts.gov.www/gregthoughts.
That's right.
Check it out.
At Greg Thoughts.
Is a hot dog a sandwich? Greg Thoughts.
That's an office joke, by the way.
Yeah, for sure.
Next beer up is another beer from Silva Brewing. This was part of like a double sale thing. So you got 3 bottles of the Silva Stout and 3 bottles of this. And I've never heard of this beer. I think it might be new to Silva or to Chuck in general. This is Chuck Amok. It's a Belgian strong golden ale that they're calling a Belgian IPA, which when I got it, I didn't know it was a Belgian IPA. So, yeah, it's 8.8%, I believe.
I just like to imagine that it's not hopped at all. It's just that's what the market's come to, where you're just like, look, I can't sell this Belgian strong golden, but if I throw IPA on the label, people are fucking going.
So you haven't had it then yet? You haven't tried it yet?
It says it in very, very small font. Belgian India Pale Ale.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been burned by Silva Brewing a whole lot of times, and the first beer didn't really wow me, so I'm not excited about this one.
What am I smelling on the nose here?
I think it's a little vegetable.
There's something funky happening.
Yeah, it's sweet.
I don't know. Maybe it's remnants of the
Elote.
last beer.
Is it barrel aged or something?
It doesn't say anything on Untapped, and I didn't go to Silva's website, so I have no
I like
idea.
the bottles. They are. I mean,
The
talk about consumer confidence. I would pay a lot of money for this bottle.
Yeah, like that looks like a very nice beer. It's like this cool little.
I'd even rate it high on Untapped just because it had a great bottle.
Didn't Pizza Port used to?
It's a sexy bottle.
Didn't Pizza Port
that's
used to
probably
put
a big factor.
the viscosity in those?
Older viscosity.
I think a long time
Yeah,
ago,
like
like the
ages
OG
ago.
bottles.
Yeah, yeah.
It looks like Italian brewers would use this bottle.
Yeah.
This is getting that what my homebrew would get that I would describe as like a lightly burnt rubber smell.
Like phenolic.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a phenolic.
In fact,
smell.
we learned about this fucking specific off flavor at the craft beer summit, and I didn't absorb it obviously because I don't remember specifically what it was called. But
the scientific
yeah.
Oh, that was Brett.
chemical.
Yeah. That was a Brett infection.
The
Oh,
phenol,
yeah.
An unintended Brett.
like the Band-Aid thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I'm surprised. I should know.
I gave it actually I swirled it and I dipped a little on my finger and then rubbed it on my hand to see if it was metallic, because that was one thing that we learned as well, and it's not. But I perceived like there was like some it was like some pennies on the nose.
That's just something we do now. Like, I wonder if it's metallic.
Dude.
Aw.
Well,
No, it is.
metallic. You don't smell it in the beer. You have to rub it on your skin, and that reacts with the ions in your skin.
Yeah.
And you smell.
We got to get
pennies.
the black metallic stout. And
I was this close to buying that beer last night at Fourth Horseman.
As it warms, it definitely gets a little more hoppy. I feel.
Yeah, I'm thinking like Lafrique. You've had
Oh
Pink Flash
yeah,
Lafrique.
there we go.
Yeah, sort of that same.
There's
that
the
was way more
inspiration.
bubblegummy though.
Yeah, I remember way more like Saison character.
Mhm. I like that beer.
This is
Everybody
more like-
fucking was like, "Dude, you're fucking retarded. You don't like that beer." I'm like, dude,
But that was the one like
I like that
Belgian
beer.
IPA I really liked.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I thought most of them were terrible, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, the Freak, oh, pretty good.
It's no Cali Belgique, but I'm just kidding.
I think we need to bring back Belgo.
Belga.
We just need more Belgo beers.
Were you thinking of
Do people in Belgium actually call things Belgo?
I guarantee.
I hope
they
so.
don't. I guarantee they don't.
They're like, that's Belgo right there. That's my friend Belgo Baggins.
that Brett thing you're referring to from the Beer Summit? Is that 4-ethyl phenol? That's what I
No,
wrote
I think it was
down.
actually just accidental Brett.
It's 4-ethyl phenol. It's a Brett character. It's kind of drier, sharper, and more of a Band-Aid kind of thing.
I don't think
Let me
there's
check
definitely
my
not. I
own
don't think there's
personal
Brett.
notes.
I don't think it's Brett.
Yeah, it's the 40p. Yeah, you're right. My tasting notes of 40p. This is what this tastes like. That
It's a little smoky. That's how I perceived it.
Smoky is a good way to put it because I expected
It's
to get
ashy.
more of either a Belgian nose or, after realizing it's an IPA, more IPA like hop kind of aroma, and I'm
Yeah.
getting something that I did not expect.
For me, I perceive that as ashtray. There's a little bit of ashiness on the finish.
I think it's nicely balanced. Like it's not like super bitter or super sweet. Like, but there's I don't know, nothing really
Could be
exciting
a little
about it.
brighter.
it's a flavor
little-
I'm super sensitive to and killed all of my homebrew. Like really, I got it in my homebrew all the time.
Yeah, old Brett in it.
And just yeah.
No, it wasn't the Brett. He that's not what he was referring to. It's this other thing.
40p.
I mean, yeah, it's.
Come on, Silva.
I know it's an IPA and it's on the bitter side, but I feel like it should be just a Belgian strong golden ale, and don't make it
Right.
an IPA.
With extra hops.
Like,
Right.
what are you doing? I mean,
Well, it just says IPA, so you know. you
yeah,
buy
but
it.
just make because I was totally fine with getting a Belgian strong whatever ale, Belgian strong golden ale.
Also, avoid getting accidental Brett in it. That would be nice.
But so far,
We're going hard at Silva Stout or Silva today, but they're I don't know, man.
He sent like a handwritten note with this.
Really?
And 4 coasters, which I don't know, maybe he listens to 4 Brewers, but
He's listening right now. He's live in the chat.
like they are, him and his wife are totally like into like the company and like being involved with every part of it, and they're all the details are great with the company and the branding and how they portray themselves, but the beers just I don't know.
And when
They're
you're naming,
young, so fine. I'm going to give them a pass and give them a couple years and see what happens. But so far, the beers have been kind of
lackluster.
disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they lack luster.
Yeah,
Not to say they're lackluster, but
they don't have that
a
same
Nagel joke
spark.
there.
That
Rogue Greg over here is really.
I always look for like a luster in a well-crafted beer. There's always like this one thing that like makes it shine. You're like, oh, that's like perfectly balanced in every single way, and like the hops and the aromatics and the finish, and oh man, it's just like I want to have another beer.
I mean,
Yeah,
These
I
are
call
like,
it
I don't
the
want
X
to have
factor. Like
another.
it has that I don't know,
Just
I say
something.
X factor where it's like, oh, there
that
it is.
luster, like
Yeah.
that professional crafted. And when your name is on the label, like I would, I don't know.
Matt
be upset.
brought up in the chat that they're 3 years old and they should be making better beer at this point, and I agree. I agree with that. But also,
we
I was
try
going
to avoid just smashing breweries.
I was going to say, in all fairness,
we're trying to be
like,
constructive here.
Chuck Silva came from Green Flash when they were firing on all cylinders, and like
Yep.
everything, all the kinks were worked out. Like they were just making
Rayon Vert,
great beer, and he basically started over with his own setup. So I still think, well, Matt, yeah, I agree. It's 3 years, and they should have their shit together at this point. I still think they have some stuff to work out, and I'm not dismissing them just yet.
When you're down the street from Firestone Walker, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
At least be clean. I mean, like, it's one thing if the beers are just kind of like, well, it's a golden ale and there's not really anything remarkable about it, but it's like there's off flavors. Like,
Yeah, that's
that
true.
should be gone, right?
It's
like,
one thing if it was just like recipe oddness, but
yeah, or
it's-
like hey, they're not making stuff that's necessarily like exciting or whatever. But this beer's not clean. Like, I don't know.
yeah, you're right.
And that looks like an expensive bottle.
Yeah.
I paid $100 for 6 bottles, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Yikes.
that's with shipping.
Well, these
And
bottles
if-
are probably $20 a piece, just the glass thirst. And
And I got a free sticker too, so that's a bonus.
Yeah.
So
Put the sticker on
It's a
top
nice
of it.
logo.
yeah, the bottles look great. I mean, they're again,
branding's great.
I'd
The
reuse
bottles
them
are
for
sexy.
homebrew.
yeah,
Make a soap dispenser out of it or something. You know?
yeah, get like a spirits pour cork thing.
Yeah.
That's
Put
what we
some
have in our
hot sauce
kitchen
in it?
for deal with the devil. Is that?
Oh,
the
yeah.
beer?
Ah, that's so dope.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so next beers are from Monday Night Brewing. They sent us, they hit us up a couple months ago, I think.
Oh yeah,
and sent us some beers. They're both, I'm not sure if this was on purpose or why, but they're both Scotch ales. One's bourbon barrel aged. The first one comes in a can. It's called Bourbon Barrel Aged Drafty Kilt. They sent us 2 cans of this, and I already sampled one can.
I was going to say, I feel like...
Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Yeah,
You're gonna bias my opinion.
I'm just saying it was not bad.
From Atlanta, Georgia.
Ruined it.
Yes, they're from Atlanta, Georgia. It's an 8.5% Scotch ale / wee heavy, according to Untapped.
Just one of my favorite styles of beer. I love.
It's a good holiday style too. And tomorrow's Christmas Eve, and
if you're just burnt out on hops, like wee heavy is like sort of like barley wine-ish.
Wee heavy is like one of those things where like you just hear the Scottish accent in just those 2 words.
It's a wee heavy.
My Scotch accent's horrible.
Yeah, all my accents are horrible. We haven't had Data Sci in our chat for a little while.
Yeah, what happened to him?
Wonder if he
Comment
died.
on my accents.
Jesus, Greg.
When people disappear online, you wonder.
The last we heard from him, he opened a bottle shop. Was that what happened?
Shit!
I think
we should go visit him.
Am I right, Jason? about
Yeah,
that?
yeah, he had opened a bottle shop in the
So
UK.
maybe
Do a show there.
He's just fucking hustling, man.
I'm just busy.
He's a busy guy.
He's
Too busy to hang out with the full brewers.
No time for these cunts and their shite accents.
Crikey! No, that's wrong. Wrong country.
Crikey.
I love all these Greg memes. They're
There's a hot dog sandwich.
nagel thoughts.
Everything is a boomerang if you throw it upwards.
I'm kind of creeped out that he has so many photos of you.
If you follow me on Facebook, I think those have all been passed. Yeah, I don't know, but
I mean, you could probably Google Greg Nagel and get some photos. Just
Probably,
from
yeah.
Google. So.
there's another guy who's a real estate agent in Chicago that we're Facebook friends with, just because his name is mine. We friended each other.
Is he a Trump supporter? Or?
No. He sent me like a care package with it's Ask Nagel Realty, and he sent me like a care package with like Ask Nagel slippers and a T-shirt, and it was pretty dope.
The number one Greg
dude.
Nagel in my Google search results is Australian photographer based in Tahiti.
Yeah,
But the
that's
second,
another one.
The second is you,
Okay, good.
author at Orange Coast Magazine.
That's close enough.
Yep.
So this beer was aged in Kentucky bourbon barrels, and it actually won a medal at GABF too.
Oh,
it
no
doesn't,
shit.
It doesn't say which color or type of metal.
Just a medal, probably bronze.
Sure.
Probably bronze. Why would you say that?
Because if you're not specifying,
Oh.
it's either silver or bronze. Like
That's
if you
true.
won a gold, you'd be like, you won a gold medal.
It's like when you buy
I
like
did that.
Yeah. See, Walowski approved.
it's like when you buy a BMW and then you take the badge off and like so you like people be like maybe it's an M, like it's not.
Yeah.
That's it was
just
the
buy
base
the
one.
M badge.
That's why you took the badge off.
Now we're starting strong in this session, you guys.
This was totally accidental. Because I made all these slides for our presentation, and all I had was my beers, and it turned out to be episode 1.
Yeah,
so
man.
yeah, that's why we're starting.
Nice.
Whew.
This is really solid.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah. I like
nice
it.
and caramelly.
A little bit like chocolate on the back end.
Yeah.
It's good.
Toffee. I always look for the toffee thing, man, and wee heavies.
Yeah,
Have
this
that caramel
has
toffee.
that nice tongue coating
Yeah.
caramel toffee.
It's got a
thing on
little
the
bit of
flavor.
warmth. Like you get a little bit of warmth from the alcohol, but not like a punch. It's just like it's like a like warming on a cold day. You're like, all right, yeah, I feel warm on my innards now. That's good.
innards. What a weird word that is.
Yep. It used to be
Innards.
printed on sodas.
Really?
Yeah, the old Mountain Dew bottle said it'll tickle your innards.
Oh no! Really?
Spelled YORE. It'll
Sounds
tickle
like a-
your innards.
YORE.
Sounds like a dildo. Sounds like a vibrator, like double-headed. It'll tickle your innards.
That does
Okay.
make more sense than Mountain Dew.
I kind of want to.
I don't know. Maybe that's the name of the vibrator.
kind of want to put a Mountain Dew in my butt. See if it'll tickle my innards.
I mean, it also had like jovial hillbillies on the label and stuff too. Mountain Dew was pretty cool back in the day.
Really? Wow.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, Jason just posted.
Dude, that
a
should be our
photo
logo
in the
for-
chat.
I think it should be your new tagline.
Dude,
Instead of
if we
brew the
did
shit
like
out of
a
it.
4 Brewers that was just based off this logo,
It's so dope. That's Pineapple Brett right there.
That's a shirt waiting to happen.
that would
dude.
rule.
Just put
we haven't
pineapple
done a
bread on
shirt
the
in
logo.
like 3 years. That'd be a good one.
That's crazy how they went from like this backwoods, like, you know, hillbilly type of drink to this cutting edge gamer drink. Like, wow.
Why is the jug like shooting a hole through his hat?
I don't know.
Seems dangerous.
overcarbonated.
If we do make a T-shirt out of that, we do need to keep the "I'll tickle your innards."
Of course. That's the whole point.
4 Brewers. I'll tickle your innards.
We can say it'll tickle your ears.
Tickle your ear holes.
Nah.
I'm afraid to be
that's
here
pretty
now.
We got to have a shirt with innards on it.
Honestly, like adapting this logo, changing that dude to Golden Brett, and just changing the Mountain Dew logo to say 4 Brewers would be the best T-shirt. I would buy 3.
Yeah, that like,
I'd make a suit.
would it be yellow T-shirt too? Since that's a yellow background.
Yellow.
I mean, like yellow, the color of Mountain Dew and piss.
Why does he have an Abba Zaba shirt on? Is what I'm wondering. Same company.
He works part time as a cab.
Yeah, this beer is pretty solid.
back, yeah.
I got to say,
I think it's drier than I would expect. Like
Yeah.
it definitely finishes really quickly. Like it doesn't hang out.
I appreciate that, and it makes it dangerously drinkable too.
It
Like,
really is like, it's not a challenge to drink. It's the kind of thing where you could easily drink a lot, and it's 8.5, and
And it's in a can.
and it would
Yeah,
probably-
I would crush a can of this easy.
yeah, and you'd be like, oh yeah, I just had the one that. Oh no, it's 8.5.
That's not terrible.
Yeah.
It's like double IPA territory.
Yeah, it's like a bottle of Pliny.
Yeah.
yeah, and
exactly.
Scotch ale is another style that I don't normally, I don't know, look for on the shelf, and when I see it, it's like, oh, okay, I know what that is.
It's such a roulette.
not
Like
gonna
you don't
get
know what
that.
you're gonna get.
Yeah,
It's a weird style because it's hard to put a finger on what differentiates like a mediocre one and a good one. I think it's hard to.
it's like hazy IPA.
I think the go-to one on the shelf, like at Total Wine & More, is a Bellhaven Wee Heavy, and I think it's maybe.
What about the AleSmith?
Yeah, that's true.
That's a good one.
I'm talking like from England or Scotland, like Bellhaven. It comes in a clear bottle, which I don't know,
That's cool.
but it's pretty good. There's no hops in it. It's not going to get light struck.
It'd
it's
probably
dark.
be a fun style to play around with as far as like buying bottles at Bevmo or something, just to see what you get and figure out.
That'd be a good like
what you
like blind taste, like brown bag it and
that would be
see
do
what you
let's
get.
do a Wee Heavy
Showdown.
Scotch Ale showdown.
that might be fun.
I'm based on the styles we've had so far. We probably have some sort of 14% Imperial Scotch Ale from Stone in a 2-liter bottle somewhere, right?
I think so.
No doubt, right?
Oh, I opened that Doppelbock yesterday.
I saw that. How was it?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Yeah, $40. I had 1.5 liters of it. Yeah, it was
Jason
fine.
thoughts.
Drink a liter of it.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. No one was going back for seconds. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So this is the same beer, just no barrel, or what?
I'm not sure about the details on this beer. This is another one from Monday Night Brewing.
this says maple bourbon barrel.
This is Sympathy Weight.
Maple?
Maple seems to be the big difference here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just-
on Untapped they call it a classy wee heavy, a classic wee heavy Scotch ale aged in maple bourbon barrels. They don't say specifically whether or not it's the previous beer's recipe or not. It's just
So they took a bourbon
Right.
barrel and then somebody put maple syrup in the bourbon barrel and then they emptied that and they put the beer in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
all right. I'm gonna try this. Hold on. Sympathy Weight is a wee
Heavy.
It's a wee heavy Scotch ale aged in maple bourbon barrels for a delicate smokiness balanced by notes of elk and syrup.
delicate. You got that.
I was in and out.
It wasn't
Oh my God, dude. That one, the Irish meme that you posted somewhere with the hand hitting the button.
What?
Never mind. I don't have a computer. I can't post
Rub
it.
Greg.
So, anyways,
I definitely get the maple syrup on the nose. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, this is a 12%, so it's significantly higher than the
than the
drafty
other one.
kilt.
my first ever homebrew, I used maple syrup in mine. I did like a Belgian. It was like not Belgian. It was like a hef, but I wanted to go for
The legendary hef with maple syrup.
the hef with maple, and the whole thing was like, cause it was banana pancakes was my inspiration.
Oh.
I wanted to do a big isolamyl acetate, sort of like big banana-y
Did you play Jack Johnson while you're doing
I did,
it?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Exactly, my headphones. Waking up too early, maybe we could sleep and making banana pancakes. Something like that. I don't know how the rest
Half
of
the
song
people
goes.
on that are listening live are going to murder you because they're going to have that stuck in their head for the next 3 weeks. Where's the meme? Damn it, Greg Nagel.
That's Nagel living in his beach adjacent community,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
listening
exactly.
to Jack Johnson all
Making
day.
pancakes. It was my daughter's birthday last Saturday, and I made her bacon pancakes,
Nice.
See,
and I
you're
sang her the song.
Talking about now I smell banana pancakes on this.
Making pancakes, making bacon pancakes.
Have you seen the multi-languages video of that?
It's only
It's
hotter.
amazing. They did it in like 10 different languages. You gotta look it up.
Yeah, this definitely has
God, I'd want to
more heat on the nose than I haven't tasted it yet, but more heat on the nose for me than the last beer. But
I love it. It's got a little smoky character to it.
But I feel like the high ABV and it kind of like thins it out a little bit.
This one is a little bit thin compared to the last beer. The maple
I rather have
doesn't-
the other one better, more.
The maple doesn't come through super heavy, but yeah, basically like we're getting it's more booze compared to the other beer and a little bit of sweetness. But I thought
don't know. I kind of like. I think it's great. I mean, I don't want it to be more sugary or heavier. I like that it's got a nice mouthfeel to it, and that it does finish drier.
I think,
but I don't think it's thin.
I think in a vacuum, this is a really solid beer. Just comparatively, the last beer from them is kind of the same concept done better. I think. Like
Okay.
the
I'm
other
with-
Scotch
I'm
ale,
with Jason on that one.
Yeah, it's so like comparatively when we have the two side by side, they're very similar beers, and I like the approach of the can a lot better than the approach of this beer.
I feel like the can has like a mid palate, like toffee character that I found really enjoyable, whereas this sympathy weight is kind of missing.
Okay.
And I don't know, that's just my.
I think it needs a food pairing with my Reese's peanut butter trees, white
That
chocolate.
does not sound bad.
Today is Christmas Adam. Happy Christmas Adam, you guys.
Is that a thing?
Well, tomorrow's Christmas Eve, and the day before.
Today's show is sponsored by Adam and Eve.
I got you guys something. I didn't get Chris anything.
We should just keep throwing out promo codes, and one day it'll work.
One day we'll just get a check.
I'm horrible at wrapping shit, so I went to Long Beach last night, and I got you guys a little
Some
something.
blendery.
Aw.
There's something
Oh,
for
did I spoil
Jason.
it? Sorry.
Yay!
Pass that down to John. And this basket is part of the whole thing. I figured it'd be like.
Did you also buy that there?
Is that for the hazy bill? Like we could put the hazy bill
I
on
guess I called it a lotion basket. You put your lotion in it.
Belongs in the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. But it's meant to put a bottle in, and you pour your beer
there? Oh, Greg.
out of that.
Greg got me a bottle of Chaos as a friend of mine from Beechwood Blendery.
Ooh.
I have a sour ale with kumquat. That sounds.
Do you like
fun.
kumquat?
Is it?
Sure.
Okay, I love kumquat.
I don't particularly feel strongly about it, but I've liked kumquat things before, like from Smog City, for
So
example.
when we have this is our whale basket, and whenever we have a really fancy bottle that we're gonna have probably later, you put it in the basket and you pour the beer.
I say we pour
Out of the
every beer
basket.
out of that
It's
basket.
a lambic basket.
It's a lambic basket.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Yeah.
we got to pour some beers. in
I've
the-
never poured beer from a lambic basket.
There it is. Now we
There we
have
go.
one for the studio.
a tisket,
Perfect.
a tasket, a fucking lambic basket.
Where's my Beechwood Blendery?
yeah,
Dude,
Thanks, Greg.
I feel bad.
Matt in the
It's all
chat.
right. I got plenty.
Matt in the
good.
chat.
I go there
who-
all the time.
Good.
I love that place. I think they're making like the
Here's a treat for you.
the
No,
best
you have your own.
like lambic inspired.
And they're flying under the radar with
Oh,
this.
so hard. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's their beers are. I think if you put them in a line blind with Dre Fontainen and Cantillon, like I would feel sometimes pick the Beechwood Blendery. Their
Probably,
beer.
yeah.
They had like the Framboise, the Creek, and the Funkia. The Funkia is amazing.
Yeah, I
And
did a little
the-
tasting last night.
The Framboise and the Creek are also like spot on. They're so good, and the price point's great and so accessible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was 2 bottles and the basket and the glasses for $35. Little
Beechwood
holiday.
sold the
nice.
basket too.
Yeah,
Oh, cool! I'm gonna have to buy one. I've always
nice.
wanted one.
I was like, dope. I'll pop in.
So the loop at the end of the basket, does that go over the neck of the bottle? Is that what that's for?
Yeah,
think so.
yeah, you flip that up to hold the.
Flip it up and you stick it in there.
So
and
it doesn't slide out,
Nice.
maybe, or
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess it's supposed to help keep the sediment right at the bottom.
something.
Yeah.
So
would
like an elf on the shelf, we have Matt in the chat. And regarding the last beer, he asked if we didn't want it a wee heavier.
Just a wee.
Yeah, just a wee bit heavier.
Was that
This is really good with the Reese's, by the way.
This beer will melt your face off.
That'd be fucking... I want to get a beer that'll melt your face off.
Goddamn.
I will say, though, about Monday Night Brewing, I never heard of this place, and solid first showing, in my opinion.
Yeah, honestly, with styles that are kind of like not in your top 10 beer styles that you would think of, like that's a really good Scotch ale. Like I'd buy that on the reg. The Drafty Kilt.
Yeah.
I think
solid beer.
These days, a brewery, like, you have to sort of differentiate yourself and brew sort of things that other people aren't brewing, maybe, and cultivate your own audience, like Yorkshire Square out here. Like, where else are you going to get British style there? British inspired ales,
Right, yeah.
or Belgian, like, who's, we're just talking about the blendery, like, who's doing that and doing it really well. We have those places in our neighborhood. We can support local. It's pretty dope.
If you're going to open a hazy IPA brewery
in 2019,
2 miles from Monkish, you better have some damn good beer.
Right.
Otherwise, just brew something completely different. Not that Andy is brewing that beer to compete with Monkish and have something different. No. Andy's brewing the beer he's going to brew because that's who he is.
That's
he's programmed.
Thing.
But it's awesome that it's so close to a place like Monkish that makes good Belgian stuff, sour stuff, stouts, and also hazy IPA. And then Yorkshire Square is just like completely different. That's amazing. It's like going to different parts of the world,
right? Exactly.
2 miles apart.
Exactly. That's the coolest part about beer, is you can experience that.
That's probably the brewery I go to the most in the South Bay is Yorkshire Square. So the missus and I are like
the pints, man.
Like two times a week.
I wish I could go to the South Bay more. Just it's so awesome, but it's just so fucking far away. As you know, it's just like a long drive, and even without traffic, it's just like, oh god, you're going out there to drink. It's just.
I mean, it's easy for me because I live in Torrance. So.
Yeah, well, that's great. Yeah, I know.
My commute to Burbank sucks ass.
Does it?
Yeah, it's an hour and a half.
Really?
Every day. It's 30 miles. I got to go.
When do you leave?
Oh. It depends. It depends on the day, what I'm doing. Like, I try and get out of the house like 5:36, and it takes me, if I leave that early, it takes like 30 minutes to get there. But on the way home, it doesn't matter what time I leave work. If I leave work at 1 o'clock or at 6 o'clock, it's an hour and a half to get home. And that's with Fast Track.
That sucks.
That sounds about right.
I feel your pain, man.
I used to do the loop a lot when I was buying a lot of beer online, where I'd go to Highland Park and then go to Monkish, and that drive across town sucked.
Yeah.
Anyways,
well, happy Christmas, Adam.
Let's talk more about California traffic for our Patreon. If you support us on Patreon, we'll do a show just talking about which freeways are our favorite and not favorite.
The 110.
Fascinating hot combo. Speaking of Patreon, we are uploading old episodes of NBT Brewing, which is it's basically 4 brewers, but with Steve sometimes, which is interesting to hear. Like,
I listened to that.
I remember going to a live show at Beechwood way back when. Did you guys do an NBT did a live show at Beechwood right when they opened?
Well, that was New Brew Thursday. NBT Brewing never did one. Oh, that was like the proto 4 brewers, basically. Like,
NBT Brewing was our audio podcast, where New Brew Thursday was our video thing before. Like that, we also called that a podcast, but it's before YouTube was big and YouTubers were a thing. But that was our homebrew specific podcast. So everything we did on NBT Brewing was homebrew, where this was kind of meant to be 50-50 homebrew and craft beer, but then no one
stopped brewing
anymore. So, but yeah, we're uploading old episodes of NBT Brewing, and they're really, I've listened to them and they're fun to listen to. Like they hold up really well.
Steven's on like all of them, basically. I
remember he's in the background on some of them. He's not on mic.
Like he was here like 90% of the time.
90% of the times, right? But a lot of times he just sat on the couch, and he had a mic at the couch, but he didn't use it. And so there was a couple times, I think, where Jason wasn't here or someone wasn't here, and he actually was on mic. And so yeah, if you missed hearing Steven on a podcast, it's cool to check out, but it's only for our Patreon supporters. We're uploading 3 episodes every Monday, along with a new 4 Brewers episodes. So yeah, support the show at any level. You could give us $1 a month, and you get to get those old NBT Brewing episodes.
$1 a month?
I think there's
holy shit.
I think there's like 30 or 40 episodes.
I was gonna say, how many of those did we do?
Not a lot.
I think like less than 20, right?
It's something like that. Yeah, because it was very random. When like sometimes we wouldn't record for like 6 months.
Yeah,
and then we'd get together and record 4 episodes and have a lot of fun. So
yeah, the McNews are on one.
Robert French was on one of the early ones. The last part of the show, I forgot his name. God, I'm friends with him on Facebook too. He brewed that strawberry rhubarb.
Brian.
Yeah.
I hang out with him every time I go to Seattle, and he's really cool.
He's one of the best dudes ever.
And I always have a fun time. Literally every time I'm in town, I hit him up, and he's super game and takes me to all the cool beer spots. He's super
that guy
cool
gets around. He goes to like every music festival. It's nuts. So if you support us on Patreon, you get access to all those shows. So
$1.
A buck.
I'm in.
$1.
$12 a year.
Yep.
For the price of a Polar Pop.
Yep.
So when you put it like that,
Chris, thanks for hanging out with us for this first
no
episode.
Thanks for having me.
Of 4. If you want to find 4 Brewers online, we are at 4brewers.com. You can go to support the shit out of it to give us your money on Patreon. If you want to donate through PayPal, you can also do that. We have links on our website that you can go to do that. But right now, I think we have one PayPal supporter. Our other one just transferred over to Patreon. So, I mean, PayPal's cool too. It's a recurring monthly payment if you want to do that, or just a one-time donation when you got the money. It's awesome. We are at 4 Brewers Show on Twitter if you want to talk to us on Twitter. At 4 Brewers on Instagram. You can find our live streams at twitch.tv/4 Brewers. You can leave a review on iTunes. Only positive reviews with 5 stars, please. And you can star us on, push the little star button on the Overcast app if you use Overcast, or any podcast app of choice. If they have some kind of rating system, rate the podcast. And if you want to send us an email about anything, negative emails are preferred, not negative reviews. Send us an email at feedback@4brewers.com and brew the shit out of it.